Chosen one. Pause for a moment. This isn't random. You didn't stumble across this message by chance. Heaven aligned it with your timeline. Every delay, every detour, every moment you wondered if God still remembered you has led you here. You are standing at the edge of a divine shift, one that will rewrite how you see provision, purpose, and power. The very fact that your spirit feels this word means heaven has already begun to move on your behalf. For too long, you've carried the weight of survival, trying to make things work through your own strength, your own logic, your own hands. But what's about to happen next won't come by calculation. It will come by covenant. God is saying, I'm taking over now. The season of striving is ending, and the season of supernatural supply has begun. You don't have to figure it out, you only have to align with it. So take a breath. Let your spirit settle. You're not behind. You're not forgotten. You are right on time, right where heaven intended you to be. This message is your confirmation, your invitation, and your activation. Heaven has opened its treasury, and your name is written on the release. Welcome to your God-funded future. Chosen one. You can feel it, can't you? Something sacred has shifted in the unseen. The atmosphere around your life no longer feels heavy with waiting, it hums with arrival. Every sleepless night, every hidden battle, every tear that fell without witness was leading to this single holy phrase. This is it. You've stepped into the moment your spirit has been rehearsing for years. What once felt delayed was never denial. It was divine design. God wasn't ignoring you, He was aligning you. Every detour built discernment. Every disappointment refined your heart. Every silence stretched your faith until it could carry what's coming now. Heaven has issued a new decree over your name. The old assignments have expired. The striving that once defined you is being replaced by supernatural flow. You are no longer fighting to survive. You are learning to stand in promise. This is not just a new chapter, it's a new order. The pain you endured wasn't wasted ink. It was the handwriting of preparation. You're crossing the invisible line between almost and appointed. Heaven calls it your kairos moment, divine timing that breaks the clock and bends reality in your favor. So lift your head. The weight is lifting too. God is rewriting your rhythm, retraining your heart to rest in His timing. The doors that once refused to open are unlocking effortlessly, not because you forced them, but because they recognize who you've become. You are stepping into answered prayers that no longer require striving, only stewardship. This is the turning point heaven whispered about when you almost gave up. And now, as you stand here in faith, the Father declares over you, you've waited long enough, my child. The wait is over. This is it. Chosen one. Listen carefully. God is not just blessing you to make you comfortable. He's funding you to make you capable. What's being released into your life right now is not a luxury. It's a launch. Heaven has a blueprint with your name etched into its design. Before you were formed in the womb, God drafted every page of your destiny with precision, not one detail accidental, not one delay wasted. Every gift you carry, every passion that wouldn't die, every dream you buried in silence, they were all part of His divine architecture. This season, God isn't asking you to hustle harder. He's asking you to align deeper, because divine funding follows divine order. What heaven builds, heaven backs. The moment you step into obedience, resources begin to respond. Provision locates purpose like iron to a magnet. The wealth, favor, and opportunities arriving now are not to inflate your ego, but to expand His kingdom through your hands. You are a vessel of assignment, a carrier of vision that heaven intends to manifest on earth. And because the assignment is holy, the provision must be supernatural. You've entered the era where obedience will pay better than ambition. What others chase, you will attract. What others strive for, you will steward. Because you are operating under heaven's architecture, a design where purpose governs prosperity and humility sustains honor. Every time you obey the nudge of the Spirit, every time you sow when it hurts, every time you trust when logic fails, you activate a new layer of the blueprint. The kingdom economy doesn't move through competition, it moves through commission. So don't question the doors that are opening, they were pre-approved by design. Don't fear the size of the vision. Heaven never underfunds its own projects. You are walking in a plan that was funded before you ever faced the need. This is not indulgence, this is instruction. Heaven has entrusted you with resources not to magnify your name, but to multiply his impact. You are heaven's builder on earth, and the materials for your mission are already in motion. Chosen one, the world has trained you to count coins, but heaven is teaching you to measure grace. You've spent years calculating how to make things work, how to stretch what little you had, how to balance faith and fear, how to survive one more month. But in God's economy, survival isn't the goal, overflow is. Heaven doesn't operate on the systems of scarcity that rule this earth. In the kingdom, grace is the currency, and faith is the transaction. The moment you align your purpose with heaven's blueprint, resources begin to move toward you with magnetic precision. What was once delayed becomes delivered. What was once withheld begins to flow. You're not just being funded to pay bills, you're being funded to build bridges, to bless, to create, to establish God's kingdom in places that lacked light. This is not about accumulation, it's about activation. Every dollar, every door, every divine connection is a tool heaven is releasing to fulfill the design written over your life. You've stepped into an economy where grind gives way to grace and pressure turns into peace. What used to take you months will now happen in moments because the divine hand is on your work. You won't have to chase what's yours, it will chase you, drawn by the frequency of obedience. Don't be surprised when miracles start looking like logistics, when debt disappears without explanation, when people are moved by God to sow into your vision, when opportunities show up that seem too easy. That's not luck, that's the math of mercy. Heaven's accounting never misses. You see, in this kingdom, productivity isn't measured by exhaustion, it's measured by alignment. The world says, work harder. Heaven says, trust deeper. The world rewards hours, heaven rewards honor. You don't have to hustle for what grace has already secured. Chosen one. The Spirit of God is replacing your survival calculations with supernatural flow. What you earn by effort has limits. What you receive by grace multiplies. You are no longer bound by economic conditions, market trends, or man's approval. You operate under divine exemption, the blessing of provision that cannot be cancelled. So shift your mindset. Stop asking, can I afford it? And start declaring, if heaven assigned it, it's already funded. Or, this is what it means to live in heaven's economy. Grace becomes your paycheck, obedience becomes your investment, and peace becomes your proof. You are not working for victory anymore, you're working from it. Chosen one, there's a reason your breakthrough took time. Heaven was not punishing you, heaven was preparing you. Every delay was a disguise for development. Every quiet season was a construction zone where God was building strength you would need for the weight of what's coming. You thought you were overlooked, but you were hidden. And there's a difference. When God hides you, He's not withholding favor, He's preserving it. He conceals what is precious until the timing is perfect. Diamonds don't develop in the light, they form in pressure and darkness. So did you. You weren't ready to be revealed until your roots were deep enough to sustain what He was about to release. The isolation you felt was not rejection, it was refinement. Heaven was shaping your character to match your calling. It was teaching you to hear God's whisper louder than the world's applause. Some of your most painful endings were actually holy redirections. God removed access, opportunities, and people not to punish you, but to protect you. He was pruning, not punishing. And what felt like loss was really gain in disguise. Do you remember all those nights you cried, wondering if God still saw you? He did. He was taking notes in silence, recording every tear as evidence of your endurance. Now, as the veil lifts, you'll begin to understand why it had to take this long. You'll see how every unanswered prayer was a setup for supernatural timing. When God finally reveals you, He does it in fullness, not fragments. Chosen one, the preparation season is over. The hidden work is complete. You are about to step into the spotlight of divine timing, carrying the weight of wisdom and the fragrance of faith. Heaven whispers over you now, I didn't forget you. I was fortifying you. Chosen one, when God decides it's your time, no door can stay shut. The same heaven that once trained you through silence is now opening its treasury with your name written on the decree. The drought is breaking. The famine is finished. The floodgates of favor are opening, and what once trickled will now pour. This is the moment when obedience meets abundance. You've sown in tears, now you'll reap in testimony. For so long, you survived on manna, daily provision, just enough to keep going. But this season brings overflow, not just enough to live, but enough to give, to build, to bless others. God is not sending crumbs. He's sending confirmation. Every need, every desire, every holy dream you've whispered in prayer is now being answered through divine alignment. You won't have to strive or force it. Heaven's supply chain doesn't depend on earthly systems, it moves at the speed of grace. Abundance isn't only about money, it's about movement. It's the restoration of peace, the return of clarity, the revival of joy. It's waking up and realizing that what once drained you now fuels you. It's seeing that the weight you carried has been replaced with wings. And yes, favor will begin to locate you in places you never imagined. People will extend help without reason. Opportunities will find you without your pursuit. Not because of luck, but because heaven's ledger shows your name next to the word approved. This is what it looks like when heaven opens its treasury, divine deposits in every dimension of your life. Peace that passes understanding, strength without striving, provision without panic. You won't have to chase what's yours anymore, it's chasing you. The angels assigned to your destiny have gone ahead to prepare the way. Chosen one, overflow isn't coming someday. It's here, pressing down, shaking together, and running over. God's generosity is rewriting your story from survival to supernatural supply. Stand still and see it. You are stepping into the stream of endless provision, where grace becomes your gravity and peace becomes your portion. Chosen one, there comes a moment when God doesn't just change your circumstances, He changes your pace. You've lived for so long in survival mode that peace feels strange, even suspicious. But heaven is saying, you don't have to fight anymore. The battle is mine. This next chapter isn't about movement, it's about mastery. You are learning the divine art of resting in victory, not striving for it. True prosperity begins when your soul stops wrestling with what's already been resolved in heaven. You see, supernatural rest isn't laziness, it's lordship. It's when you finally let God be God, and you stop trying to carry what only He can sustain. You no longer panic when things shift because you trust the one who orders the shifts. You no longer chase answers because peace has become your proof. In this rest, your mind grows quiet. Your spirit becomes anchored. You stop reacting to chaos and start responding from clarity. The storms may still swirl around you, but they can't shake you anymore, because you've discovered that peace isn't the absence of trouble, it's the presence of trust. This is the prosperity heaven is releasing, the kind that doesn't just fill your hands but stills your heart. While others exhaust themselves chasing blessings, you will walk in the rhythm of grace, where everything you need finds you in due time. Supernatural rest is heaven's evidence that you're funded. It means you no longer strive to make things happen. You steward what's already happening. While you rest, God rearranges. While you worship, He works. While you breathe, He builds. Chosen one, peace is the new wealth. Calm is the new confirmation. Your composure is your crown. You're stepping into days where anxiety no longer rules your mornings and fear no longer negotiates your faith. Be still, not because nothing's happening, but because everything is. Heaven is moving on your behalf. You are fully covered, fully supplied, and fully safe in His divine economy. This is the prosperity of peace, where grace guards you, provision follows you, and rest becomes your reward. Chosen one, this is where the story changes, not because your situation has shifted, but because you have. The person who once hustled to prove their worth has been replaced by someone who knows their value, was settled in heaven long before they ever performed a single task. You're no longer trying to earn favor, you embody it. The fire you once used to fight for survival has been repurposed into fuel for stewardship. The same energy that once chased validation now builds vision. This is the divine identity shift, the graduation from worker to co-creator, from struggler to steward. The Lord never asked you to hustle for what He already finished. He asked you to manage what He entrusted. Hustling is fueled by fear of lack. Stewardship is rooted in faith of supply. One drains, the other multiplies. The old mindset said, if I don't make it happen, it won't happen. The renewed mind says, if God ordained it, He will sustain it. That is maturity, learning to trust the rhythm of divine order more than the rush of human effort. You no longer move for applause. You move by assignment. You're not chasing platforms. You're cultivating purpose. This shift is subtle but sacred. It's the difference between performing for provision and partnering with heaven for impact. Legacy is born here. When you live as a steward, everything you touch carries eternity's fingerprint. You become a channel, not a collector, a vessel through which heaven releases its resources to the world. The prosperity that flows to you now is designed to flow through you. Chosen one, the hustle served its season. It taught you endurance. But this is the era of ease with excellence. You're not defined by how much you grind, but by how gracefully you align. You don't chase opportunities, they're assigned to your name. Walk in quiet confidence. The blessing that once felt heavy now rests lightly on your shoulders. You are no longer striving to become someone, you are becoming who God always saw. You are not the hustler you used to be. You are the steward heaven can trust. Chosen one, the greatest sign that you're aligned with heaven is not how hard you push, it's how freely things begin to move. Alignment replaces anxiety with assurance. What once required strain now unfolds in flow. Faith always outperforms force. When you obey the quiet nudge of the Spirit, instead of chasing outcomes, doors open without knocking. Situations start cooperating with purpose. People appear at the right moment, carrying what you need. That is not coincidence, that is confirmation. Obedience is heaven's acceleration key. Each yes to God calibrates your path, syncing you to divine rhythm. You'll notice the shift. Frustration fades, clarity returns, and even delays feel divine instead of discouraging. Because alignment doesn't eliminate waiting, it makes waiting purposeful. You've entered a realm where effort is guided, not exhausted. The world says, prove yourself. Heaven says, position yourself. When your heart stays anchored in trust, creation itself begins to assist you. Opportunities find you because they recognize the fragrance of faith. This is what walking in divine rhythm feels like. Peace in motion. You do less but see more. You speak less but carry more weight. You're not manipulating outcomes. You're magnetizing them. The energy of striving has been replaced with the elegance of surrender. So, chosen one, stop forcing open what alignment is already unlocking. Let faith lead, and watch the evidence appear: smooth connections, effortless favor, and inner calm that no chaos can counterfeit. You are living proof that grace works harder than grind. Where you once fought for traction, you now glide in trust. Keep moving at the speed of peace. and you'll discover that every step of obedience is a miracle in motion. Chosen one. The shift happening in your life right now is not small, it's structural. You're not just changing situations, you're changing dimensions. You've graduated from surviving by grace to thriving in grace. The same storms that once broke you are now beneath your feet, testifying that God truly builds from the ashes. Survival taught you faith under pressure. Significance teaches you faith with purpose. You no longer wake up asking, "How will I make it?" but "How can I serve it?" This is the sound of maturity, the moment your prayers stop revolving around rescue and start revolving around responsibility. You're no longer begging for daily bread. You're distributing it. Heaven is elevating your perspective. Where you once saw obstacles, you now see opportunities. What once drained you now drives you. You've stepped into the divine flow, where strength comes without struggle and wisdom comes without worry. The same spirit that sustained you in the wilderness is now empowering you to lead in the promised land. This is your crossover. The fear that fueled your hustle has been replaced with faith that fuels your calling. You are no longer reacting to life, you're ruling from your purpose. When you walk into rooms now, atmosphere shifts. People sense it. Heaven's authority rests on you like a mantle, and that weight carries influence without effort. Significance doesn't mean spotlight. It means substance. It means you carry presence, not pressure. You build things that last. You speak words that heal. You make decisions that echo in eternity. Chosen one. Survival was your classroom, but significance is your commission. You've proven faithful in lack. Now God can trust you with legacy. Every lesson learned in the fire is now fuel for the future. You are not a survivor anymore, you are a sign. A living testimony that grace transforms, faith elevates, and alignment empowers. You've stepped out of barely enough and into divine abundance. You've moved from being delivered to becoming a deliverer. This is transformation. This is significance. This is your divine flow. Chosen one. Every miracle you've received was never meant to end with you. It was meant to flow through you. What God is releasing into your hands now carries assignment, direction, and purpose. This is not random favor. This is resource with responsibility. You are being entrusted, not just enriched. Legacy begins when you stop asking how much you can gain and start asking how many you can lift. The abundance coming your way is heaven's way of saying, "I can trust you with influence." You've proven faithful in seasons of lack, and now you're being positioned to fund destinies, empower visions, and release restoration into the lives of others. This isn't about luxury, it's about leadership. God is raising you as a kingdom financier, a light bearer, and a builder of bridges. Your prosperity is prophetic. It announces that heaven is not bankrupt, and that faith still funds the future. Through you, others will see what happens when grace meets good stewardship. You are entering the phase where giving becomes your greatest joy. Every seed you sow will multiply beyond imagination because it's not just money, it's mission. Every act of generosity becomes a sermon, every investment an act of worship. You're no longer striving to make ends meet, you're expanding God's ends across the earth. Global impact is not about fame, it's about faithfulness. The world will feel your presence, not because of your name, but because of the God who backs it. You were chosen to carry legacy, to represent heaven's heart in boardrooms, classrooms, and communities. When people encounter you, they should encounter the kindness of God, the peace of Christ, and the abundance of the Spirit. Chosen one, your life is a distribution center of blessings. Every area of overflow in your world is designed to water someone else's drought. You are not just living in abundance, you are abundance in motion. So walk humbly, give boldly, and love deeply. Let your legacy be a reflection of your source. The world will remember your impact, not for what you owned, but for what you released. You were blessed to be a blessing. You were chosen to be a channel, and through you, heaven's generosity will never run dry. Chosen one, take a deep breath. You've reached the moment heaven has been preparing you for. This isn't just another word, it's an activation. Everything that has been spoken over your life is converging right here, right now. The waiting was not wasted. It was wiring your spirit for this very alignment. Heavenly Father, we come before you with open hands and grateful hearts. We acknowledge you as Jehovah Jireh, our source, our sustainer, our provider. We thank you that what was once withheld is now being released, and what was once delayed is now being delivered. Lord, let your will unfold without resistance in our lives. Let your favor flow like rivers in dry places. Father, we declare that every chosen one hearing this word steps into divine rhythm. We renounce the spirit of striving and embrace supernatural flow. We align our faith with your economy, not the world's. Every resource, every idea, every divine connection that has been assigned to our purpose, let it locate us now. Let open doors replace old delays. Let abundance replace anxiety. We decree and declare, we are funded by faith, not fear. We are backed by heaven, not burdened by worry. We are carriers of peace, power, and provision. Lord, seal this word in our hearts. Teach us to rest while you work, to listen while you lead, and to give as you guide. Make us faithful stewards of every blessing, that our overflow may become nourishment for others. Chosen one, as this prayer settles in your spirit, know this. The transaction in heaven has already cleared. What you've prayed for is now moving toward you. All that's left is for you to walk in it. Lift your hands in surrender and say aloud, Lord, I align with your flow. I receive divine provision. I walk in faith, abundance, and peace. This is your activation. Step boldly. The flow has begun. Chosen one, this is your moment to move from hearing to walking. Heaven has already signed the release. Now it's your turn to step into it with faith and boldness. The old season of fear and striving is gone. You are entering a life fully powered by grace, guided by peace, and funded by God. Don't just listen, declare it. Speak life over your next chapter. Type, I receive the blessings of the Lord, or Amen, in the comments as your public act of faith. Share this message with someone who needs to be reminded that heaven still provides. Make sure you subscribe, stay aligned, and stay expectant. Every video, every word, every moment of faith you sow is preparing you for greater overflow. Walk boldly. Chosen one, your divine funding has begun, and your miracle is already in motion.